Well, bad news. I recorded game 4, and while we were at the final Moonbane, power in my house went out. And it just recently came back up. It took around 3 hours for the power to come back through, and I was like, wow. Right at the end of the recording, and since it was in the progress of recording, guess what? Recording ain't gonna capture anything. So it kind of feels bad. I did get a good chance to actually hear over the audio level, so let me know if this works better, but it really kind of blows, especially coming out of the gates of just like getting to game 4 and it reaching to its conclusion towards a climax, and just kind of make it really feels bad. But hey, at least I get more insight for you guys, because I really wanted to showcase some things that happened with the Roman Yang and with the positions and everything, and kind of some nice surprises of the plays coming out from the players, and it just really sucks. It was like 40 minutes by that point. Alas, we still rolling. We're still gonna get this recording done for it, just to go through, so that way we can hit into week 2, day 1 solos. But with this being said, right, and if you guys were watching parts game 1, 2, and 3, you would be able to notice that I already said this like 3 times. I'm gonna say it for the 4th time. OUG were the ones who won the grand finals. Now it's looking, how did they do it, right? Let's see what the process of getting through and their point values, and how they kind of capture up to that marker of making match point, and then after making match point to actually accrue the victory with MVP. But besides that point, looking at Sand Siphon picks being coming out here, Wolves actually equates out to doing the AOT comp. In the second round, we're going to see a snowball coming up from Alliance, but JL is going to be running the cannonball comp, while we see OUG running AOT alongside GG. And then into rounds 3 for round selection, a triple Farius Shen set up with the cannonball comp and a snowball comp from WBG. This is their last run with it. Well, not really their last run, but they're able to run this, and I'm really excited to see, because they've been performing a little bit better than ALL when it comes down to Justina as that option pick. Skills are going to be pretty much synergized into this more concrete and more expeditiously. We're powering through this, because I want to be able to get those other parts and other rounds actually be seen and recorded. So coming off of this end, you can see you're going to be F1 from the ALL, and then off of this end, you're going to see, is it Wolves? They're still committing turns to V1, F3 for Viper, as it goes. V3, F3 for GG, and then we're actually going to see off of this end from WBG, A-Shao rocking the F3 for Yodohime. So as it comes out, we know the defensive position between these players. And the positions here is actually kind of extreme in terms of like the conversions into med top. We're gonna see that coming out from both XG, BBE, and JL. Actually gonna arrive up into there. ALL/Lions are gonna be over by the Yushan Ruins, while we do have EPX over by the Igneous Mound. Wolves and Plume Castle. OUG and WBG near the Salvation Podium. Team Battle and KLA actually gonna be spawning really close to each other, a lot closer than what I expected, into the starting spawn near the tower. And GG and DRG actually spotting nearby towards the trenches, and then right next to Southwestern Barracks. Now, this is where things in the beginning start to get really explosive. We are going to have fights here between Bauda and KLA. As mentioned, they spawned what seemingly to be a little bit distant is really close. As they kind of initiate into this fight, pay attention to the timer, and then look what's going to come up here in just a few moments. And this is the economy system that we've been seeing these players kind of take full utilization of. Jin goes down as QGG tries to live out here, and he's not going to go ahead and do so. Beak and Yaron try to lock down into 17S's position. We find him in staggers as much as they can with the staff, and just keep the pressure going on this end. Jump Olivia Chase comes out, and they pick up this the res off of Jing. Now we're about to reach in 29 minutes onto the marker, and not even before 29 minutes or before the first minute, 2 Moonbanes already purchased between Bauda and GG. So you know how fast it is to get Moonbanes once you get eliminations, because Bauda got 3 eliminations, GG have 3 eliminations. They pick up those the 9k gold, and they go straight to the shop for that Moonbane at the low cost with a percentage of discount for the shop. So that's just really quick on them. Now FX goes down from BBE Snack. We're gonna see Snack actually book his position to actually look towards and getting the elimination, and Ben goes after Kakashi, and Kakashi, you're gonna go see Night HQ to be one of his other teammates to go down. Jianan is somewhere around the ringer going northwest. You can see into the map, while JL is actually moving out to the western region because they want to make sure they're regrouping and getting gear, because that's where they came from originally. WBG, though, it looks like WBG, they switched out from going down from south of the Salvation Podium and made their way straight forth into the Fortress of Kaviani, and then rushed right into Metop as a region. We also have to remember, spawns can change. So you got to understand that these teams can change their spawns in the last second. And, you know, we kind of see an opportunity of that, but we only get the last predicted selection from them, considering how they've, you know, they can change their spawn. Like, you can last second spawn switch, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to have to see Sleepwalker getting his armor torn apart, but Jianan actually going to be the person that gets killed out here by Aisha, who goes forth it. Roy Shishi trying to chase out Baiji, who is left behind from WBG into Metop. He tries to get a scare rush out, but he gets eliminated. Now, this is where it kind of comes into differences of power and positions and timing. Aisha comes in here with an offensive F3. We see Roy Shishi activate ult in response, and you know, whether or not he knows that the Yorihime has ultimate, Sleepwalker is also there. That's his biggest worry. If Sleepwalker has ultimate, to keep the denial off of him if he does go for like some sleep, you know, or for some freezes. Now, Reishishi now has a Yorihime to avoid. You know, he tries to find himself in spacing towards Ben, who is getting slapped around by the Justina as well as the Yorihime. As Sleepwalker looks for a dash, he gets a stagger off of Ben, who does go ahead and gets caught almost into that blue focus from the katana, but an ultimate from Ben is smart, strong. Sleepwalker at the very corner of this gets locked into the zone, and with that, we're going to see a kill off from Roy Shishi, and with it, Snack keeping that elimination to himself. A-Shot trying to back off here. Third party comes in from Wolves. This is where the timing aspect came into play, right? Not quick with the eliminations because Yorihime can buy a lot of time, especially at full HP, where she's taking a lot of mitigation from damage taken. But since BBE, we're kind of on the ringer of actually having to force ultimate Ben, especially having to ult. That gives a huge indicator for Wolves to come right into here using the Atessa ultimate and keeping the control, even though Ben cannot friend the Atessa. You know, he's throwing a wisp towards Snack to keep his teammate alive. And RMB gets denied due to the Tessa. You can see Ben gets an immediate reaction to try to get a blue focus because he knows he locked in these two characters by locked animation from the Wisp. And in which case, you can see Roy Shishi went for a jump parry just in case if an RMB comes out from ZK, but we're keeping double spams coming out here. But ZK finds that RMB and keeps that kill going. Finds another enchant from ZK, and Roy Shishi now in an enchant state is going to lose out on his teammate as they kind of push this forth. But WBG Aisha looks to try to confirm a kill against Roy Shishi. Gets kill stolen by ZK. F3 to push this back. ZK getting straight to this shot and locking in on Aisha. There it is for neutral damage. He doesn't go for blue. He just goes straight in for just some quick neutral scare rush damage from a pole sword, and it's a really big massive multiplier, right? So you're looking at 600 damage from a purple pole sword, like it's, or 400 to 500 damage, really quick, concise damage. Now, as Wolves loots up and gets those eliminations, right? They only have 4 eliminations total, but they're catching up to the leaderboards from 8th. They're now at sitting above Alliance from 9th. Now, knowing how KLA had gold in the beginning to kind of buy those reses off this end, FPX is still at the top of the leaderboard. Although they get passed out by Bauda due to those 3 eliminations, because Bauda was behind them by 0.2, now circumventing a lead off of that value. You're going to see Bauda actually looking to lock into first place and looting up over by the tree set now, or not the tree set, but like the trees north of Imperial Village. Now, while that fight happens through here, we're going to go right back into Metop. Of course, you're going to see some fights come up between these players. And it kind of makes it seem that, you know, oh, they're in a bad position, right? But JL actually consumes an ultimate. Wolves as the EG gets to teleport off for his team. So that way TXJ, or not TXJ, but ZK can get out there, you know, especially that point. And Wolves are actually in a really good spot here because they can have so much distance closer, a distance away from enemies due to the amount of walls that Metop kind of conceals away from them. So you're going to have to see whether or not it kind of comes out to it. JLVVV trying to go ahead and distance himself towards TXJ, who locks in onto Wolves as EG looks to try to reset for his team into the shop. We are going to see Zem try to be the first one to be engaged upon. Remember, Wolves has V1 F3. Silence comes out from the Furious Shen. Zem has himself with that V1 to be ready, and we're going to see whether or not this Tesla ultimate comes out to play. VVV gets caught out here, and of course, we're going to see another chance here. TXJ is going to see about a slash against ZK. VVV gets caught into the enchant, while TXJ covers his teammate and F3 quickly from Zem to try to go ahead and scare rush, get in position here to try to go towards his teammate EG if he can, or rather, he looks towards VVV, who has an F3 in anticipation. Gets a shot. EG trying to regroup with his teammate. TXJ still peeling off with the V3 extra slashes. And of course, we're going to see VVV just go ahead, try to reset here while Zem does the same. Now, Wolves' Zem has V1, right? So we know how much pressure comes out. But since ZK, you can see how ZK goes down, immediately down under, because he is up against a Weishan who has full control with the spacing. And also because TXJ is there to kind of boot now, considering his ultimate has already run out. And as Zem tries to dip out here, completely EG. Remember, they already used ultimate to get their team out in the first place, but JL came in for the hunt and succeeded in doing so. Even though they didn't have variation ult, they still kind of committed towards it. Now, this is where it kind of comes down to play for OUG inside of City of Tong. As you can see, an ultimate coming out from DRG's Wushin 98, even though he still has... Oh, wait, actually, I want to mention something. DRG's Wushin 98 actually rocking V3. I forgot to make mention of that in the previous, into the round. So he has V3, which is not really an often pick you see in terms of trios. Basically, what comes down to it is that you want to kind of keep your team into the energy field, especially since there's also going to be enemy Temis, enemy Tumulches into the masses. And what happens with V2 is that you actually kind of negate the slow that comes out by giving your team the energy regen, stamina regen, to give them a warranted feeling of being neutraled out. But the other thing about it is that this also kind of gives him a kind of dangerous position, because if he is in a fight against Tessas, right, he has to make sure he does not pass through the wall if his cooldown has been or if his cooldown is down, meaning he has his skill available. So we're about to see what happens here, considering that OUGSS is the Viper and has V3, who can actually just deny him from doing anything for the next couple of seconds, so long as the pressure doesn't come out. And what you see here is that even though the enchant comes out, we're going to see the V3 comes out from SS to deny it. Wushan cannot use F. He gets caught into the enchant. And with this, there's going to be a chance right here for that pop. Gets caught into the RMB. Has his F up because he passes through the wall. Let me rephrase that. He finds his chance to roll out and has his F resetted. So he has no ability to iframe. No, nothing to kind of do that. And even though his teammate WFZ is down, Moonlight is still keeping this pressure being held with a dreadful whale. And catches Jin Yu, who has ultimate back up again. And look at that, just captures both of these teammates. Even though SS is down, that enchant gives all the more reason for you to drop right into there. And you can see the long swords coming out here for those horizontals and everything. Nice parry against Moonlight. Clinks off Wushin, who has himself into enchant. They focus on Moonlight. Moonlight goes down. Now they can consolidate a fight against 98, but he is going to get chased out here while the rest goes off for Xin Yu. This is the problem that comes out in trios against when it comes down to not utilizing, well, not utilizing, but V3 for Temi, really good for solos. Dependable how you want to playstyle it, but you are able to get as much considerable damage from the Wisp throws. If you catch your opponent, like an Akos, for instance, that's his direct counter. Excuse me, to actually hit those Wisps off this end. Now, as it comes down to this round, you're going to see over to the trenches, 17S kind of sees that QGG's down. I saw a ballista shot, right? You kind of know where this is going to go. Since the ballista position is towards the benefit of GG here, they did buy the first moon, one of the first moonbeams alongside with Bauda. They are able to take this fight into 17S's position. The ballista just does that much damage, man. Like, just look at this, right? He's like at what, 1000 HP? Just about. Gets caught into that bow shot. Just a quick little arrow, and then skadoosh, right? Like a ballista shot just deletes around 600, and that burn scorch is gonna kill him anyways. GG finds themselves really climbing his leaderboards, now having 6 eliminations into this round. CXC gets himself kind of caught in a bad spot here because he decided to go straight towards City Tang, and then he kind of feels like something's amiss. And you know, OEG is over there anyway, so then when that happens, CXC goes straight towards nearby the Cinnabar Valley. GG still rushes down south, maybe looking for that Firefly cage that would appear here during Sunny, but I don't think that is the case in terms of it being here. Firefly cages are RNG, by the way, so even if it's cloudy, for instance, and you try to go towards the like one of the Firefly cages in the open, then may or may not be there. But we do see XCG still with 0 eliminations. They are in current position of 11th. They are below DRG, who does have 1 elimination, and BBE, who actually have 5 this round. Now, coming into this position of CXZ in ult form, you already know that WBG takes any opportunity to grab this elimination. And you're going to see this very clear cut as it comes out. These guys look towards and seeing about that assassin's that single edge stab doing his work, and Sleepwalker in ultimate to confirm the kill off his DXZ, knowing that he will get 30% rage back, so he can kind of expend those dashes to kind of insurance, close this guy quickly before anyone kind of shows up, and just being fast with it. And they'll pick up the Soul Bloom for him. He'll have that Soul Bloom. He's out 15. Yeah, 15%, maybe not 30, but now he's gonna get 60 at least by the time the rage second starts ticking down. And it just comes down towards that. And then Ice Shard like Jing just locks a random. He actually locks the Eastern Romy Yang, and I mean way out east. So far east, I don't even know. Over to the trenches, Southwestern Barracks is where he throws it. Right, you can see it right there. And I was like, yeah, okay. But like this Vermilions, I mean, I would have denied the Vermilions, to be honest. But Bowder just came from the Imperial Village, right? So you're looking at players who just came out from a big on-spawn fight with KLA. They could be still over there, right? Potentially kind of keeping track of the souls and not seeing that coming through, and be like, yeah, just insurance case in case they want to try to contest the Romy Yang to get in there. But there's so many other players split around. XEG and JL are all over the Fortress of Kaviani. We do have WBG by the Romy Yang over yonder. But one other thing is that since GG and GG's still over by the city of Tong, you could actually see BBE as well as Alliance and Wolves are still nearby to the Snowy Forest between this areas. So you kind of got to keep in mind about the Camel's Hump as well for that position for this Romy Yang, that they could take it, take the opportunity going straight south. But 30 seconds on the block. We're gonna see how FPX kind of like comes through here. Moonfall Pass for WBG is like, that's where it is, like that's where they're at. JL's trying to conglomerate themselves in there with XEG, but we're gonna see what happens inside of Romy Yang, outside of Romy Yang, whichever fights. And then hope for the best, because FPX coming in from the rafters here, I think they had like around 7th position in the total standings, and they kind of worked their way through to make it to the top 3, which is good. Now, a Mortal Defiance from Dongqing can be utilized. I was making mention about Mortal Defiance, how you can use it a defense, like an offensive measure, like you can actually get free. You can be careless with it to the extent. Can it obtain great value? Absolutely. But here's the thing in this fight. Now, Dongqing focused on NIHQ. I remember this clear as day because even though the recording is a couple hours ago, rest in peace recording. NIHQ here is dead to rights here, because considering that he gets locked into the stagger with a Phoenix Blast, that's a double hit stagger. And Dongqing in ultimate, clear ultimate cast against his opponent. But what happens next is truly tragic. He misses the slash, and what does this give? It gives Xiaonan, who already has F3 already used. You can see the little bar. He actually used it previously, tried to tether it towards water, but he gets to NIHQ immediately as he rolls out. Xiaonan has himself to see his teammate rushing through here. Kakaxi already locked out water from an RMB, and NIHQ uses ultimate as well as a way to mitigate any sort of pressure from anybody, especially Dongqing, especially the Yodohime. And now, this is where the turnaround happens. Zhao Hu is down. The ultimate cast coming out from Kakaxi to fully pressure him into that spot of kill confirming him gives Dongqing a lot more pressure now, considering that the whole team is here to kind of back them up. And Dongqing goes ahead, gets caught until it staggers. No bow shot coming out from Zhao, but we are going to see this chance here for the Mortal Defiance here for NIHQ, but it was not used in a manner of speaking the best option for them. And as much as Dongqing gets this R&B off, you're actually going to see Kakaxi's getting a headshot right there to kill off Dongqing. Big upset. NIHQ up against water. And XGG takes this win really considerably, because that was throw right there, and then that confirms that kill and that win. And it all came down to Dongqing timing out his slash with his opponent, with his teammate with that Phoenix Blast. But alas, we go into Bauda versus BBE. Euron gets into the beacon, peeks in there, and we don't know whether or not Jing is going to try to keep this pressure on, but Snack goes down, and that's going to be an immediate win that we see for Bauda here off of their Romy Yang. And it's kind of good for them to get gold nunnies and give that upgrade to their Weishan. Usually that's where it kind of comes out of, and even then it goes from Weishan, Yodohime, into Feria Shen. At least it should, because Weishan can go into ult form most of the time. Yaran / the Yodohimes, they would actually enter the mech to make sure they can just pelt out damage against opponents. Now WBG lost their fight. I don't know who they lost their fight to, because I don't know if it was Alliance. I don't know if it was GG. Considering that GG was near to the city of Tang, I can only imagine that GG went north towards the Vermilion Burst Might, and Alliance was in that fight against WBG, and that would have been a very interesting fight, because you gotta understand both of these guys are running the same comp. The only difference is the skill for the other Hime, and I believe for the Wei Shan. We'll have to see. Excuse me. One thing though to note, right, is that WBG just tried to run this down. This is where the stagnation happens. You're gonna see a lot of like skipping around here, because this is really just them getting positions out. I'm not sure, because this is where actually this is a really interesting spot. So FEX spawns here, Dongqing spawns here, gets into the zone or to the bush. BBE wants to hunt to the point where then they have to force all the teammates to actually group up here, and they find the opportunity of doing so. Of actually ambushing the ambushers, and then with Dongqing actually having that set up into the sky, the Aurora Burst being revealed, this gives Dongqing more opportunity here to try to find that locked in position to use F2. Like with that, right, with what happened to Iben there, he gets caught out with his Aurora Burst, and then all of a sudden clinks out, has to use F. This gives Dongqing just enough time to see what's going to happen against Roishishi's F1 to be utilized. So Roishishi finds ultimate usage, Dongqing finds ultimate usage, Bin tries to use the ultimate to kind of negate these guys from pushing towards him, but then Roishishi gets literally sent here in a position where he could just get staggered continuously over and over and just keep it going. The V2 coming out from Zhao, or not from Zhao Hu, the healing coming out from Snack's V2 is getting Roishishi just a little bit more opportunity here, but Snack gets caught out to this cannons by Zhao. He's going to keep focusing him. In the meantime, Dongqing focuses out Iben, gets the grapple staggers, and the cannon comes out for the zip around to knock out this kill, and Dongqing gets elimination of a Bin. Now onto Water, onto Snack and Roishishi. While Water is still in ult form, Roishishi gets caught to his F2, jump LMB. Even though Snack hits that RMB, there is not enough time for him to kind of get out of here, as trouble follows, as FPX follows through for their third elimination, and this is them getting back into the game. Now Dongqing doesn't have any grapples, but his teammates do, and Snack, he kind of buys some time. He tried to go for that glide, the downward glide with the F1 to kind of create a disparity for his movement, but it just comes out the BBE. They had 5 eliminations. They were really doing really strong into this game to getting 5, and then FPX kind of reversed ambush them when it came down to outside of the Romiang, and losing the Romiang to actually go ahead and spawning over there. But XGG finds a kill off of Baiji. I want to actually see about this. I think in just a few moments we'll actually see NiHQ do something pretty smart, pretty dang smart. It's something to take into consideration when you're playing Takeda as in trios comps, especially with the Sand Siphon comp. And I think it's gonna come up right here. It should come up here. Yeah. No, not yet. They go up against Wolves. No, they don't go up against Wolves. No, they do go up against Wolves. Yeah. This is where it comes through. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to like how we kind of go through this, because Wolves. Okay, we're gonna go back to the camera here in just a second. CJS from GG make his rotation. I mean, these guys are coming from the Altar Tranquility or south of it, so they're gonna be making their way towards Plume Castle. But fight coming out from between XGG and Wolves. We'll see that in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're gonna see Bowda spawning in here. Oh, what the heck is in there? They're gonna spawn and go to the shop. ALO tries to cause an inconvenience by shooting out some range shots. I think Lane was the one who was trying to cause some pistol shot, armor check, and then go through here. And they get in there. Bowda's still holding out around the ends, waiting to see if anyone else is gonna enter for themselves to get a free Romiang if it comes down to it, which is really. You kind of want to take that, right? If you can take that free Romiang. But obviously, Iran, like Bowda, they get themselves a free round. Like this is free for them, and this is huge. And now lines up against JL. This is, I think, where JL actually wins this fight. I think. And I think it was just circumstance off of TXJ's movement here, because look, he sees Bo gets fully sent out here from FX, and this is where it switches up, I think. I had to double triple check in my memory banks because right now, right, you can see the slash come out here. Revenge is in offensive mode as the second person to ult. TXJ try to follow through, finds Lane, who is getting anticipated. He's trying to use his dodges to catch Lane. Lane gets avoided, but we're gonna see Bo try to focus on TXJ, who gets caught into those neutral attacks. Double jump allows for TXJ to go for scare rush, finds Lane, CTF2. Cannon shot to kind of push off Lane, push off Bo off of TXJ, and you can see TXJ. He's kind of being him. He's kind of setting himself up here for like a play, because that parry right there, right? We know F2 is down. F2 restagger. This is where the switch around happens. So TXJ, we don't see his Jades, but he has soul release. So he looks to the F2 this. He gets a kill off of Lane, and he's got a reset on that skill, and he has Sky Force. Nobody is prepared for a recast of the F2. So then when TXJ rushes towards Revenge, right? You're going to see Revenge like, whoa, whoa, whoa. But then Bo gets a hard stopper and an F3 shot from VVV, confirming another F2. Now puts Bo in that position of an R&B. And that surprise gives Alliance like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then this transitions into this fight, putting out to FPX versus XCG. FPX actually gets some kill off of XCG here while NHQ is left behind. Water gets a sick parry against ZK and has a single, I think he hits single edge sap. Yeah, he does. He hits two opponents, Zem and ZK, who just eats up like 700 damage from his from the purple hung sword. 700 and 825. Let's be exact. Because purple weapons do 1,000 with no melee mitigation. And so Water takes his hit. Scare rushes away. Gets in. Like, Water has an enchant, right? So he can't really do anything here. But ZK tries to go for a martial artist will hook form. Finds it. Excuse me. Dongjin gets eliminated. And a mech comes out here from Xiaohu, who can he can create pseudo pressure, right? Like ZK gets locked in here and it's like, oh, don't approach the Fairy Shen. We got no ultimate. We got nothing. We gotta back off here. And then what happens? Dongqing goes ahead for the res against for Water, or Water gets a res off of Dongqing. Dongqing has ultimate. Pressure out ZK for one slash, and then what happens? Dongqing cancels ult, or he hits two slashes and then he cancels ult, and then Xiaohu goes ahead and heals up here as well in mech form, and he goes into cannon to deny wolves and keeps Dongqing in a good position, just being able to get a reset off with no problems whatsoever. Wolves of ZK just really trying to be aggressive for the positivity statement to try to say nothing is gonna let me down more than me. So he walks straight in there and it works out. Like, it absolutely does. Jaya goes ahead, steals a Soul Bloom and kills it out in a Wu Chen port. Puts Wolves out of this fight that Jaya was trying to ambush on. And Wolves actually just and the back off as a whole. XCG comes out from the south side, and I'm not sure, they can't see them because of the ridge line, but then Zhao Nan's like, whoa, hey, I see you. We're gonna have one cast for ZK, and we're gonna have a V1 for Zem. Remember, V3 F1, a V1 F3 for Wolves' Viper Zem. And this is where this fight kind of comes out for NightHQ to shine. So NightHQ, Zhao Nan goes to the bow, and this is good on both sides. Zem is a really strong push to backline gamer. So you can see how, not Zem, ZK. ZK goes in, or sees how Zhao Nan is trying to backline. Finds any opportunity to get there. He finds it. When NightHQ activates that F1, he has a free clear grapple that just goes straight in. And NightHQ backs off, tries to protect his teammate. This is where Wolves ZK builds up rage, right? He already has a cast already available for Tessa. But his main objective here is to push in his opponents into one grouping where he can get an enchant. Now, NightHQ dodges that, anticipates it. Kakaxi was not ready for that, but more importantly, NightHQ has ultimate. Uses his ultimate to kind of push, Zem off to use ultimate here. ZK gets his parry off ZK. Instead of committing towards a parry, backs off, finds cover, rushes right back in, gets straight onto ZK. Now he's on the backline pusher, where Zhao Nan is, with Kakaxi for that tether. You can see him just putting in pressure here by keeping ZK away from his teammates, and then lines up a beautiful Takeda, Fear, and Blast to push everyone here in their spot, respectively, away from them. And the ZK had to use F1 there. FEG goes down from Kakaxi. Zem tries to back off through, gets caught, and ZK is just going to be the only remaining force. So from forcing a backline push, Wolf ZK looked for Zhao Nan, pseudo pressured everyone around, and got Kakaxi into the enchant. But not NightHQ, he was keeping eyes on the Tesla ult. He got a parry, not a parry, but he forces Zem to look for that V1 opportunity, and that was with an activation of his ultimate. And then ZK gets parried, but instead of doing the animation to go for the parry, he just backs off, so that way ZK can't pressure anyone from that point. And it's just really good stuff from NightHQ, honest. So off of this end, NightHQ finds ZK out here, finds another enchant, but these guys already had this close to the bag, even with the armor. Like, they have it. And Skyforce kind of keeps NightHQ straight through to this bar. And then on to this point, we're going to be going straight back towards into the Plume Castle, OUG's SS and WFZ. This is a big fight coming out between these two, but I want to preface yet another shout out, Jingyu, Tessa. Look at this. Look at the Tessa ult that comes out from Jingyu. 3-man Tessa ult. DRG Moonlight, WFZ, Wushen, all from Team DRG. They all get caught in like one snap. And then what happens here is the most prevalent, is that they force the team to separate. And Moonlight goes into his own. He throws an F1 to give you, not you. He throws an F1 to give Wushen some defense mitigation. DRZ or WFZ gets caught out here from TXJ as, you know, as it comes out here, and he gets an F2 recast. It doesn't hit, but the horizontal does there. And then they Moonlight just hangs onto the zone. In the meantime, you can even see OUG or JL comes in here for that third party, dipping OUG out of this. And as it comes out, right, it's like the third party comes in beautifully prepared. OUG wasn't really ready to kind of go off in this end. When JL kind of showed up to single out Southside, they got an elimination on Wushen, but they couldn't confirm it off of WFZ. And then Moonlight's next to WFC, so he's just gonna wait out TXJ or JL as a whole to dip out. And then OUG maybe wants to go back to the body. He's like, let me look at seeing what's remaining of these guys. Absolute cinema. But the most important part, pain. Romy Yang depletion is a painful reminder, especially when we have the Plume Castle's Aquila's Crest to kind of work off of. You're looking at Aquila's Crest and you're like, yeah, that's definitely not fun. And Bo gets some nasty Dragon Slayers off of this end with the Heartstopper kick. Like, he hits that. There's just so much verticality that he can't confirm any gold hits off. And you're going to see Bo see his teammates get almost eliminated. I mean, they will get eliminated. Alliance had 5 eliminations this round. And it's not that they don't have this in that comp's favor for it. Like, I'm not going to say the comp is the problem. It's just, you got to remember, when they went up when they went up against Bauda, they did not think that there was going to be a reset off of a Yoruhime F2. Like, that was the biggest surprise against that team, and that's just one basis of the Soul Jades versus the comp, because you know, the pressure came out when they knocked down the Fairy of Shannon, but then when Yaron was able to considerably just kite around Bo, right, like especially Bo, and able to kite around lane and trying to connect towards him, that just came down to the play style of how you can catch them, you know, with the positions and all that stuff. And it's not really about the comp. It can be about the comp specifically, yes, because obviously there's staple comps into the pick rule, but like just like how Transformers comp are not out of the rule. Why? Because there's too much pressure against them. The only time they can kind of succeed, basically, Rip Peak, is because of the Rip Peak Part 2, is because of the massive amount of pressure and CC control, damage control, stagger control, desert power, man. It's just so much to it. And you can see Peak actually dropping all his health jades. Just a heads up, but dropping your health jades and then healing is the best way to max it out. We got to be careful about doing that when you're in middle fights. CGS gets eliminated by JL. They find him, single him out, and then Bauda actually confirm the box opening, and they find gold armor for Peak, who just backs off here. And Iran looks to try to disengage here as well. Gold pole sword in the hands of one of the players, most likely Peak, as Yaron kind of backs off here. And then it gives the armor towards Jing for the Fairy Shen, just in case. Because you got to remember, Jing is going to be giving them the Fairy Shen beacon, but not only that, he's just going to be needing, just in case he gets ranged out, right? Because he's not going to have the protection of a mech, like 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 HP. Gold pole sword goes in the hands of Peak now, as Yaron was going to be the person to pick it up initially. And this is where it ends up to the 6-minute mark. Now, this is where it comes down to pokes versus pokes. XCG trying to lock in towards a spot of a hilltop. For positions, JL's FX reveals that he does have a Aurora Burst. I'm not sure if OUG sees that, if anyone else does. JL TXJ goes ahead, backs around the corner. He looks to try to get some tree line position here, and then all of a sudden, remember this spot because you're gonna really realize this spot when it comes to a certain Viper who arises to the occasion, and not in a great spot, you know, to come through. SS specifically. Now we do know that this Moonbane is here. Now this is the second Moonbane. SS activates F3. I don't know why he activates or V3. I don't know why he activates F3 and made it like that. I mean, it's for him to actually close towards FX definitely, but the problem that comes out is this Merciless Havoc gets smacked right into the Moonbane. Now SS is like, okay, I need protection. I'm getting caught into these V3 slashes. I got my F3 Wu Chen, and then all of a sudden he is at a point where he cannot designate his spot any further. And beautiful ult teleport for Wu, who goes out as a Wu Chen, but no one from XCG was actually able to show their face towards that. But VVV was able to find that one out and actually finds them through. But now TXJ just says, don't worry about it. I'm just going to go for this Morris Blessing. And literally, hand pick locks in front of the police officers and breaks into the chest where no one else was able to want to contest it. Almost. You know, TXJ goes back to it, unlocks it, boom, gold armor. All right, gets cannoned out. He's good. He's already out. Jinyu though in their backline, so now TXJ has to regroup with his team. Finds that, you know, maybe this is not the best option. Being this open field, VVV is down. Cannon burn coming out from Yaron, and Yaron actually just being that gamer from Bauda who just like switches the mode towards from range towards melee against XCG, who just tries to rush through here, man. It kind of sucks how VVV is down the Fairy Shen for JL, but TXJ trying to walk away with his armor, trying to go for some restore. Has a gold katana turn into, wait, did he just convert it in the middle? Oh, he did convert it. Wow, he had a crafting hammer. Nice. Hey, that's pretty good. SS finds out FX. Actually, let's talk about crafting hammers. So, I mean, I've seen players carry 2 craftings, 2 armor powder or weaponry chest at a certain point in the game, just to make sure that if they need to convert a weapon because of Soul Jade priority or just a weapon priority, that they do so. And it happens to clutch up. It really does happen to actually clutch. Parry from FX though. Okay, so he gets a parry, and he actually gets a pretty significant parry, right? OUG's SSU and Jinyu gets parried. All of OUG gets parried from FX. Boom, bam, bop, right? Instead of going for the heal that would have been guaranteed, because it's a single hit. It's not a 2-hitter. It's not like a small initial 100 damage, 900 damage parry. It would have been a significant hit if he hit right in between you and Jinyu for like all his healing, and he goes straight towards the Viper. He goes towards SS, the farthest target, and I'm like, yo, wait, what's going on here, dog? And he misses her completely, and I was like, damn, feels bad, you know? Feels bad. And SS gets, you know, he's like, okay, cool. And the shield walls from Wu is significant too, because he places them in between different ranges, so that way it kind of like goes into the further closer to the enemies. But you are Jinyu from OUG. There's a lot of wild haymakers. Kakashi gets a kill off a Peak. Jing finds a kill off of SS. There's a lot of wild haymaker ultimates that can happen and benefit for distance closure, from especially coming out from Tessa's. I want to kind of see how that kind of ends up if that does happen, because Yaron has F2 to give a res duty towards Peak, who Peak has ultimate, and he gets it off. Kakashi from XCG, this man said, I have to stop this res. I have to stop this res. You can see him trying to cannoning from above. He gets caught in the cannon. He doesn't even have F ability. He rushes in here, gets in the ground form, and then activates ult to push back, and it's not even in time. He can't catch it. Peak gets to 2,000. Was that 2,000? It's a lot of HP. I think it's 4,000. 4,000 HP. 3,000 some HP that Peak has. And remember, Peak is like in, no pun intended, peak condition right now, with just trying to commit towards this pressure. And you know, the health bar is magnanimously high, but Peak actually needs to look towards where OUG is fighting, towards where his team, where Yaron is locked into place. And you can see how much Peak kind of like decides, oh, this is good. And Iran or someone gets Immortal Defiance here. Who was that? It wasn't Shinyu. He didn't die. No, Iran got Immortal Defiance, right? No, he's just getting slapped. Yeah, he does get Immortal Defiance. And he actually gets that healing off of the armor. Soul Bloom doesn't get picked up here. We're gonna see a port. NIHQ goes right in here, cleans up shop. Iran goes down. XG Kakaxi and NIHQ back off. They have literally their ultimate casted here. Soul Blooms are saved up and kept on rotation. As NIHQ now finds JL, pushes down TXJ, gets caught into the Scale Rush. F2 pre-casted. Let's see what he's got, because he's got another 3 Fear and Blasts, and he can only cast 2 here right now. So, I mean, coming out of this end, he's gonna have to wait until someone try to pressure this off. Like Kakaxi gets parried right here. Look at the client timing. TXJ finds his opportunity here. Xiaonan is now having ultimate readily available for XG. I need to talk about that parry though, because you're telling me TXJ didn't see his teammate get a nice parry off of Kakaxi, where a single hit from that pole sword would like seal the deal. More importantly, I got a question about Kakaxi. And JL asked, the JL is actually in a 2-man squad right now. They lost BVV earlier. Let's talk about how much damage Kakaxi was taking. He took like no damage. He took like absolutely 0 nada damage, and there was no tether from me. He just didn't take damage from a gold pole sword. It might be broken, to be honest, because there's no way he took like that little damage, right? I don't know. We're gonna have to see about that one. Xiaonan gets himself here. And then Yu from OUG gets eliminated. JL's TXJ just gets to the sky. NIHQ finds that elimination, finds that Soul Bloom, and has already 80% on ultimate. He's just making sure I'm marking this up. Batters Jing just keeping the high ground against FX, and then these guys are just keeping this rotation back and forth. Now Jing forces himself his hand. TXJ goes down, and that's a soul. That's literally Skyforce doing its magic. Picks up the Soul Bloom, has ult again. TXJ by himself. NIHQ just looking to go ahead, capitalize on the fan, and using his Fury Blast to confirm this. Jing is in the zone now with Burn, and you know this is not going to work out for him. And yeah, there he goes. It's a 19 kill game for XG. Guys, I'm gonna go back and show you where XG was at a certain point, and I want you to be very, very like about that from the beginning of the standings. So NIHQ, XCG right now, 3rd place. They're about to pick up their 19th elimination. They were at 10th place. They were literally on the bottom of the board. They were literally bottom 6. And all of a sudden, they come out as MVPs. Top 6 now, or not even top 6, top 3 now. From an 11.5 down to 2, down to 0. To a 30.6 game. They literally knocked OUG now. OUG actually had a good game to catch up points against JL. Now they're tied up between the two, but a 30.6 game is the highest. No one's gotten this yet so far into the finals this week. So 23.6 was the highest from Bauta at one point, but now, you know, like killer games out here from XCG, and you know, NIHQ being there, Kakaxi actually being their MVP, and seemingly so 30k damage, and 16.5 of that was pole sword RMBs. I want you to think about that. And the focus slide really does come into play here in the blistering edge as well. But the more important thing about it is that his cannon, especially with the Rupture Gale, is just consistently doing that poke damage against enemies. And skills of ultimates, he was just using his F abilities to throw down. And you know, the V2, it kind of makes me kind of sad, because you know, we know what Bauta was using V3. Actually, not about it. DRG was using V3, right? And they only had a 2.2 point. They had a V3 Temi that kind of worked against what they were looking for, and you know, it kind of comes out to it. But we'll see into round 6 or round 5, I should say. Finally, the recording is done, part 2, because this recording took a long while due to no power, and it lost itself in the time of my hard drive. It kind of feels bad, but we will be back here for rounds 5. Appreciate you guys. Any feedback, let me know, and anything like of that nature, any like suggestions, just shoot me up, hit me a message on Discord, or even onto the comments down below. But with that being said, my name is Severio Caster, and I'll see you guys later.